that case, the presence of seed dormancy prevent the germination. So internal factors like dormancy may be seed coat or the embryo. So the presence of inhibitors in embryo and seed coat or even impermeability, this can cause the promote the dormancy and prevent the germination. The viability also important, because if the seed viable, then only it can able to show the germination. So that case viability also influence. And finally, the thickness or the thinness of the seed coat. If the seed coat is very thick, the germination may be delayed. So the thickness also influence. So these are the things we studied yesterday, and we started with the seed dormancy. Seed dormancy is the mechanism in the plants. They are having the seed. That seed, even if you provide the viable seed, even if you provide the favorable environmental condition for the germination, it won't germinate. So that is the case we are saying dormancy. Even in dormancy, because the both temporal and spatial manner, it is influence. If you look into the spatial distribution of germination, that can be controlled by the seed morphology, and which can influence the dispersal of the offspring also. And if you look into the temporal distribution of germination, that is controlled by the physiological status of the seed. So even in germination, so temporal as well as spatial manner, it can influence the germination. So if you look into the dormancy, that temporarily the germination is suspended, even if you provide the favorable environmental condition. Some seeds need some time after harvesting, and it should be kept for some time to reach the full maturity. So that is called as after ripening process. The dormancy period can vary with species to species. Even that is depending on the anatomy and physiology of the crop. I already mentioned the dormancy is the state we able to see in the seed that is preventing the germination, but the environment is more suitable. So this case, the dormancy means it is not the it's a viable one, because viable one, it is having the lime able to germinate, but in temporarily it doesn't show the germination due to the metabolic inactive nature, because if during the germination we know the metabolic processes are activated and then only it's germinating. But in dormancy period, what is happening, the seed is viable, but the metabolic activity inside the seed is inactive state. So due to that, it is incapable of showing the germination. So there are several conditions or the reasons for the dormancy. So water can influence, light can influence, temperature, even mechanical restriction may be there, seed coat can prevent, or hormonal structure inside the seed can prevent. So these are the reasons that can prevent the germination and promote the dormancy. We already know if the gibberellic acid during the germination, gibberellic acid induce the cell division and enlargement that can promote the extraction of the radicle and the plume. So then only the embryo is giving the germination. But if the hormone abscisic acid is available, it's promote the dormancy. So like that, the hormones also influence. So this is the thing we already look into. If the seed is dormant, it won't germinate. Even after harvesting, some seeds need a particular time period, so that can be called as after ripening. And during the dormancy period, we can give some treatment to break the dormancy. So then seeds become as a non-dormant and it's able to germinate. So this is the plant development process. So from the seed, pollination and fertilization, how the seed formed. Then after seed maturity, its germination happen. Then plant growth able to see, and maturity of the plant we can see. So this is the germination process, because we can incorporate this picture in germination also, the monocot and dicot plant from the seed, how it is germinating. So even in dormancy, if we look into the dormancy, because if we want to promote the germination, it should absorb the moisture. So that can promote the metabolic activity. So to break the dormancy, so there are several methods: scarification, stratification, soaking. So soaking also one of the method we can adapt to break the dormancy. How? If we put the seeds into the water, it can leach out the inhibitors that is present in the seed pod or the embryo. Then the seed can able to germinate. So that is the method we can. There are several methods available. We'll study in the next lecture to break the dormancy. So if the dormant seed do some treatment to break the dormancy due to the structural changes, because abscisic acid is earlier present, that will promote the dormancy. If the gibberellic acid concentrated increase in the structure in the secondary assay, secondary event, so it will promote the germination. So the structural changes happening due to the seed treatment, then the termination or ending of the dormancy happen. Due to that, seeds able to germinate. So if you look into the advantages of seed dormancy, so we can store the seeds for a long time if the seed is having the dormancy. So it ensures the survival of the species. Even the crop can tolerate the adverse condition by having the dormancy. Some plants having the seeds, while it is attached with the parent plant, it is able to germinate. So that type of plants, so if it is having the dormancy, so that is better, because without dormancy, only it is germinating while attached with the parent plant. So viviparous plants means the seed which is attached with the parent. So during that time, it able to germinate. So if that seed is having dormancy, it won't germinate. So even while attached with the parent plant, it germinates. That is very difficult, because if it delays some harvesting, it started to germinate. So that is not good. So that type of plants, if it is having dormancy, that problem will be overcome. Even temperate zone and the tropical zones, temperate zone, especially to tolerate the cold conditions of winter time, the presence of dormancy is very good. Similarly, in tropical environment, the presence of dormancy, especially during the water stress condition, is more suitable. Then if you look into the disadvantages of dormancy, so because of the dormancy, we are unable to get the simultaneous germination. That means uniform germination. So due to the non-uniform germination, the maintaining the plant population is difficult. So even it can interact because some plant can reach the maturity at different time. So it will interact the seed testing procedures also. These are the some disadvantages we are having by seed dormancy. Then we will see what are the reasons for the dormancy. So there are several reasons available. I already told you some plants need even after harvesting some period is required to reach the maturity. So that is the period after ripening. The presence of germination inhibitors, even temperature, light can influence because some seed needs light treatment to promote the germination. So that is the due to the dormancy, it won't grow. Then immaturity of the embryo, the presence of high concentrated solute, so that can be leached out, or hard seed coat, impermeable seed coat to water, oxygen, and some resistance also we are able to see in the seed coat. So these are some reasons for the dormancy. So impermeability of the seed coat to water and gas, if you look into, so it can delay the germination. So embryo is even the not dormant, but hard seed coat does not allow the water or gas to penetrate inside the seed. So that case, this is the seed coat imposed dormancy. Then the immaturity of the embryo. So embryos are undifferentiated or maybe rudimentary. So it can delay the germination until the differentiation is complete. So at the time of harvesting, some seed, it is undifferentiated, embryos undifferentiated. So it needs some time period to complete the differentiation. So that is immaturity of the embryo. Some case, the presence of specific chemicals like abscisic acid or the germination inhibitors, one of the hormone, the abscisic acid, this can. So this germination inhibitors present that may be in seed coat or the inside the embryo, that also can cause the dormancy. So the presence of inhibitors on the hull or the seed coat, so due to the leaching, it can be washed out. Even inside the embryo also, it can be washed out. Then season and cultivar variation, so that also influence the dormancy. So that can vary is in the same crop. Even in Japonica, that means in rice is the crop. Among the rice, Japonica variety is non-dormant, but if you look into the Indica variety is dormant. So depending on the variety, the presence of dormancy varies among the crop. Even within the crop also it's influence. So that is the example, paddy. Within the crop, paddy is the crop. Within the paddy or the rice, because the subspecies of paddy, that Oryza sativa is the botanical name of the paddy. So among that, Oryza sativa japonica, Oryza sativa indica is the subspecies. So within the paddy, among the subspecies, the dormancy can vary. So japonica is not having the dormant period, but indica is having the dormant period. So this can influence the dormancy. Among the factors influencing or inducing the dormancy is the impermeable seed coat to water or oxygen, immaturity of the embryo, so it needs some time to reach the full maturity of the embryo even after harvest. The presence of inhibitors, it may be in seed coat or even it may be within the embryo. In addition to that, the season or the cultivar can influence on the dormancy. Then we will move to the types of dormancy. So in seed, we are able to see the 3 types of dormancy: innate dormancy, induced dormancy, enforced dormancy. If you look into the innate dormancy, this is exist in fresh seeds, so that have the genetic mechanism of the delay sprouting until the proper season, even the soil or climatic condition that is more suitable for the germination. So that this innate dormancy present immediately the new embryo stop to grow, even it is still on the parent plant. So due to the presence of innate dormancy, the plant that is attached with the parent, it won't germinate. So that is very favorable. But viviparous plants is having the ability, while attached with the parent plant, is able to germinate. So that is the bad, because if we delay the harvesting or we can't store the seeds for the next season, so that is the problem we are having. The presence of innate dormancy, it prevents the germination while it is attached with the parent plant. Then induced dormancy. So after loss of the innate dormancy, because while attached with the parent plant, it won't germinate. That is due to the innate dormancy, because with the connection, if it is attached with the parent plant and connection, it won't germinate. That is the innate. Then if we separate the seeds from the parent, that is the loss of the innate dormancy, because we are separating the attachment. So then some seed is able to show the dormancy. So that dormancy, we are saying that as induced dormancy. So the high temperature and oxygen supply, this can induce this dormancy, because for the germination, the appropriate temperature and oxygen is needed to promote the germination. So for example, induced dormancy that can occur if we put the seeds too deep. Because from while planting, we know we have to put the seeds to 1.25 to 2.5 centimeter depth. Otherwise, if we put it in the too deeper, the availability of the oxygen to the seed will be reduced. And the same time, the light promoting germination seeds, if you put it in the too deeper, availability of the light also reduced or deprived. So that can cause the dormancy. So that is the induced. So we are limiting some factors that is needed for the germination. Another way, it is promoting the dormancy. That is, dormancy is induced. So that case, we are saying that as induced dormancy. Even the other type, we are saying enforced dormancy. So even seeds cannot get adequate light or water, they won't germinate. So this seed type of seeds can remain dormant, and it can in the rest period until the favorable environmental conditions comes up. So this is also the induced and the enforced, the more or less same. But the embryo, even if the seed is having the hard seed pod, the embryo can still develop inside. So we already told that after harvesting until reach the maturity of the embryo, some seeds won't germinate. So that is the situation here. So the hard seed cord that can if the seed is having the hard seed coat, it needs some time to germinate. At the same time, the embryo is also needs some time to complete their maturity. So that type of dormancy, we can call that as enforced dormancy. So mainly, we can categorize the dormancy into two. That is external dormancy and internal dormancy. External dormancy means dormancy is caused by the outside the condition, that is outside the embryo. So that may be the seed coat, that may be the hard, and it can prevent the permeability of water or oxygen. The mechanism available outside the embryo that is causing the dormancy is called as external dormancy. Or we can say seed coat imposed dormancy. Then some cases dormancy can be induced by the presence of inhibitors within the embryo. Embryo is having the inhibitors. So that case it can be called as internal dormancy or endogenous dormancy, or we can say embryo induced dormancy or embryo dormancy. So mainly even the in dormancy we studied the types: innate, induced, enforced. But in that is one type of category. The other main category is the dormancy induced by the embryo or dormancy is promoted by the seed coat. So that case, external dormancy and the internal dormancy, that category we can have. So exogenous dormancy means the seed coat is having some barriers like infiltrate the moisture, prevent the germination, or it is preventing the germination by providing impermeability to water or oxygen. So that can cause by the seed coat. So that is the external one. Then internal dormancy means, or the embryo dormancy means, the chemical changes that happen within the embryo that is preventing the germination. The presence of inhibitors in the embryo that can prevent the germination. So that is the endogenous. Then we will see what may be the reason, because we know the exogenous dormancy is related with the seed coat. So whether the seed coat is thick, so that can prevent the germination. So it is providing the mechanical resistance for the growth of the embryo that is coming out from the seed coat. So that seed coat is giving the barrier. So that is the thickness of the seed coat is the one reason. And if the seed coat is thin, it is not having the barrier to water going inside. So that can germinate easily. Then if you look into the internal dormancy, so I already told you, there may be two reasons. Immaturity of the embryo and the presence of inhibitors, because this dormancy is caused by the embryo. So at the time of harvesting, if the embryo is not completing their development, it needs additional time to complete the maturation. So that time, if we put the seeds for the germination, it won't germinate. So the example of the seed, be able to see the immature embryo is okay. Then the presence of inhibitors, that is also influencing the germination. So the chemical substances that can be present in the embryo, that can keep the embryo dormant. So it may be present inside the fruit. So example, in tomato, if you observe the use, it is possess the inhibitor ferulic acid. In some embryos like Xanthia, embryo is having the inhibitor. Even some cases, endosperm also can having the inhibitor. That is example is iris. That is a temperate flowering plant. So it is happening. So that is the case we studied today. So what is dormancy? What may be the reason for the dormancy? What are the factors influencing or inducing the dormancy? The dormancy types that can be categorized based on the dormancy exhibited where, and another category we having the what can cause the dormancy, that is seed coat or the embryo. So when the dormancy, because three types, in this type of dormancy we are having where it is exhibited. So innate means, so while attached with the parent plant, it is dormant, having dormant nature, that is innate. Induced means even if we, while our mechanical work like planting, if we put it in the deeper, so it is we are inducing. Then enforced means even what we are doing, some periods, so even after harvesting also need. So that is enforced dormancy. Then this category, because the dormancy is present due to the seed coat or the embryo, these two category we are having. So then for the internal dormancy, the embryo, immature embryo and presence of inhibitors may be the cause. For the seed coat dormancy, so the thickness of the seed coat that can influence the entry of the oxygen, water, even the seed coat, sometimes it may have the chemicals also. So due to the soaking, it should be leached out. So that is regarding the types of dormancy. In the other slide, we will have a look. How can we break the dormancy? If the dormancy is there, so we have to do some techniques to break the dormancy, then only it is able to germinate. So if the hard seed coat is causing the dormancy, we can do the treatment like scarification, or we can call that shitting. So this will help to transfer the water and gas inside by giving this treatment. Scarification means we can do that mechanically or chemically to make the seed coat allow the water and oxygen and promote the germination. So that is the process we can do, the scarification. If we alter the seed coat physically, then it will allow the water and oxygen to go inside to the embryo, it promoting the germination. That one stem, one method to break the dormancy is scarification. So for the scarification, I already told you the physical method or the chemical can be utilized. So in physical, the abrasive materials like sandpaper or sand, we can utilize. Or some tools also we can utilize. For the tools, maybe needle or the sharp knife to break the seed coat, or rupturing of the seed coat, we can do by using the mechanical tools. Then that is for the physical scarification. So metal file or rubbed with the sandpaper or nicked with a knife or cracked with the hammer. So what we are doing, we are weaken the seed coat. If we weaken the seed coat, that is in a position to allow the water and oxygen that is needed for the germination. So other way it is break the dormancy. The piercing the hard seed coat, so that is example bitter gourd. Or we can remove the seed coat completely, especially in mango. So that is that type of treatment if we provide, that is physical scarification, or we can say mechanical scarification. Chemical scarification also possible. So in that way, what we are doing, we are using some acids or organic solvent to make the seed coat that is permeable to water. The earlier it is impermeable, that won't allow the water or oxygen. So we have to make the seed coat permeable to water and oxygen. So by treating the sulfuric acid or the organic solvent or alcohol, even some cases we can boil in water. So these are the chemical scarification. In addition, even in chemical scarification, what we can do, we can soak the seed in concentrated sulfuric acid or the alcohol. So this type of treatment we can give. The time period we are giving that depending on the thickness of the seed coat. So if the seed coat is too thick, so we have to give more time. If the seed coat is more or less less thickness, then we can reduce the time period. So then, but in chemical treatment, what we have to do, after treating with the chemicals, we have to thoroughly wash with the running water to remove that chemical. Otherwise, it won't help for the germination. So these are some examples of the tools we can utilize for the scarification. So this is the sandpaper we can use to rub the seeds. So this is the pile we can utilize to weaken the hard seed coat. Then this is the sorry, three-sided file. That is the triangular file. We can strap the seed coat. So this is the microplane grater. This can be utilized. Even the nail clippers we can utilize, or sharp knife can utilize. Even the blade we can utilize, because these are the simple tools we can utilize to break the seed coat and weaken the seed coat. So this is a chemical scarification. We can put it in the water or the acid to break the dormancy. Then other method is stratification. Stratification means low temperature treatment. So some seeds may have the germination inhibitors. So it should be break down before the germination, or promote the germination. It should be broken out. So that case, we can give cold temperature. So that is the low temperature treatment. So especially the low temperature 0 to 5 degree is more appropriate. Even 3 to 10 days if we provide, that will help to break the dormancy. So even in stratification, we providing the low temperature treatment. So that will promote the gibberellic acid amount, and it can inhibit the hormone that is abscisic acid, preventing the germination, and it can make the disappearance of the abscisic acid, and it can make gibberellic acid appears. So it can, normally we know gibberellic acid promote the germination. Abscisic acid inhibit the germination. So if we remove the abscisic acid and promote the gibberellic acid, so automatically it will promote the germination. Then light treatment. Some seed need the light to break the dormancy, especially the lettuce seeds. If we expose to the light, it will be in a position to break the dormancy. Then water. Then I already told you, because mainly seed coat or the embryo may have the dormancy. So if you want to soften the seed coat or the leach out the chemicals that is present in the seed coat or the embryo, the soaking in water for overnight, so that can soften the seed coat one way. It can allow the seed to germinate, or it can help to wash out the inhibitors that is present in the embryo. Even in water, if we give some, if we keep the seeds under the temperature of the water 40 to 50 degree, so that also helps to break the dormancy. So if we, while putting in water, one is for the soaking, even one is for the warm water, because 40 to 50 degree centigrade water is a warm water. So how long we are keeping, that is depending on the type of seed. So even some case, they are putting in hot water also. So 80 degrees centigrade, but the time period we are giving is very less, because very hard seed coat, just we have to put a few minutes and get it out to weaken the seed coat. These type of water soaking, so to overnight soaking help to leach out the inhibitors that is present, that is normal water. Overnight soaking with the normal water helping to leach out the inhibitors that is present in the embryo. But warm water treatment or the hot water treatment help to break the dormancy of the seed coat. The duration of the treatment we are giving, that is depending on the thickness of the seed coat. So that is the case water. So water is utilized for the soaking overnight, that is to wash out the inhibitors present in the embryo or the seed coat. Then other way, water can be utilized in warm water and hot water can be utilized. So it can be helped to weaken the seed coat because of the hard, thickened seed coat. The other way we can utilize to break the dormancy is use of growth promoting substances. So normally we know chemical substances can be utilized to break the dormancy. So application of plant hormones like gibberellic acid, cytokinin and ethylene that can promote the germination and break the dormancy. Especially gibberellic acid at the concentration of 100 to 1000 parts per million. So even if we soak it for some time, it will promote the germination. So other way it is break the dormancy. The concentration of the gibberellic acid we are using that 0.05%. So that is even 500 milligram gibberellic acid can be taken, and it can be mixed with the 1 liter of water and be able to get the 0.05 percentage of gibberellic acid solution. It can be soft. So depending on the type of seed, the gibberellic acid concentration also can be varied. Even the dormancy due to the chilling requirement under the control of gibberellic acid and the inhibit abscisic acid hormone possible. So that case, the chilling requirement that can be replaced, because sometimes the chilling is needed. So that can be replaced by the gibberellic acid. It can promote the germination. So the presence of abscisic acid induce the dormancy, and presence of gibberellic acid promote the germination, we know. So that is regarding the hormones. But some chemicals also can be utilized. Under the chemicals, potassium nitrate, thiourea, ethylene allohydrine. So these type of chemicals can be utilized to break the dormancy. Under the potassium nitrate, this is very effective to break the dormancy, especially in oats, barley, and tomato. Even it can break the dormancy of light recurring seeds in the dark condition. So while using the potassium nitrate, we can, if you want to get the 0.2% of potassium nitrate, what we can do, we have to take 2 grams of potassium nitrate and dissolve in 1 liter of water, and be able to get the 0.2% of potassium nitrate solution for the dormancy breaking mechanism. Thiourea also can be utilized, especially in lettuce. It can be utilized. 0.3 to 0.5% of the thiourea solution can be utilized for the short time period. Then after treating with the chemicals, any chemical we are treating, after treating with chemical, we have to wash out the chemical and put the seeds for the germination. So that is regarding the seed dormancy and dormancy breaking mechanism. So in dormancy breaking mechanism, if we ask, so you can see there are several methods available to break the dormancy. Under that, the first one is the scarification. This method, what we are doing, we are weaken the hard seed coat by doing mechanical methods or by using the chemical. In mechanical methods, sandpaper can be utilized, sand can be utilized, or some tools can be utilized. But for the chemical, the concentrated sulfuric acid or alcohol that can be utilized for the scarification purpose. The other method is the stratification. Some seeds need low temperature treatment to break the dormancy, especially the temperature in the range 0 to 5 degrees centigrade. Even the period we are giving, that can vary from 3 days to 10 days. So low temperature treatment is needed to break the dormancy. That is called as stratification. Scarification is the first one. Second one is the stratification. The third method we can utilize water. In water, we can utilize the water for overnight soaking, or we can utilize the warm water, or we can utilize the hot water. So the water that can be utilized in 3 ways. So overnight soaking under normal water, this will help to wash out the inhibitors that is present in the embryo male. Then warm water treatment, the 45 to 50 degrees centigrade, we can give seed treatment for a period. That is depending on the type of seed. So that case, what is happening? The seed cord is weaker. Then warm water treatment, this is mainly for the very hard seed cord. The time period we are giving. Hot water treatment means 80 degrees centigrade we are providing. Warm water treatment 45 to 50 degrees centigrade. So that is possible. Then light. Some seeds need light treatment to break the dormancy. The especially lettuce seeds need light treatment to break the dormancy. Even in that type of seed, even in dark condition, the application of hormones also possible, because in gibberellic acid, light preparing seeds in dark condition, if you apply the gibberellic acid, it will help to break the dormancy. So hormones or chemicals also can be utilized. Under the hormones, gibberellic acid play a major role. In addition to that, cytokinin and ethylene application also help to break the dormancy. But the presence of abscisic acid, that is promoting the dormancy. That is the hormone. Then the chemicals of potassium nitrate, even thiourea, that also can be utilized commonly to break the dormancy. The concentration we are using, that is weight. The concentration we are using, that is weight. So that is regarding the dormancy, because we know now what is dormancy, what are the reasons for the dormancy, what are the types of dormancy we able to see in the seeds, and which mechanism we can utilize to break the dormancy, we studied. Next, we have to look about the seed viability. I think I can start the viability, then factors affecting the viability, all these things I can start in the next class. So today we studied about the dormancy, types of dormancy, what may be the reason, in which way we can break the dormancy and promote the germination we studied. I will stop up to this today. Then next Thursday also we have the exam. Because of the online exam, the permanent staff are required every time. Nearly 17 or 18 permanent staff now available. So all should be participated to help for the online examination. So every Monday and Thursday, we are having the exam theory part. The other day, they are having the practical components. So coming Thursday also, I have the exam duty. So I am able to take your lectures 9 to 10. The Friday one, I can take it, because the 9 to 10 I can take. But for the Thursday one, I am able to take. So I will take that Thursday one in next Saturday, 7 to 8, because no way, because last Thursday, I think the exam is coming to end. So Monday also we have the exam duty, Thursday also we have the exam duty. So from 8:30 to 1, we will be very busy with the exam, because we have to conduct the exam, we have to monitor the students, then we are responsible for the taking the printout and hand over the printouts to the supervisor. So we are acting as the invigilators. So very sorry, the next Thursday also I am able to take the lectures at 9 to 10. I will take that next Saturday, 7 to 8. I think in one lecture or two lectures I need to complete viability figure, and storage also we have to study now. So next Friday and Saturday I will take the lectures and I able to finish the seed physiology. Next, after the seed physiology, you have to study about the flowering physiology. So that lecture will be taken by the Sarja madam. Then plant propagation also you have to study, because you have the revised curriculum. Earlier we had the plant propagation as the separate course in the second year, first semester. But we reorganized our syllabus and we have to bring down the plant propagation section under the 1-1. So some extent you have to study about the plant propagation also. So after studying the flowering physiology, then again I will take the plant propagation, because these are the sections covered by myself. So I have to take seed physiology and the propagation sections I have to cover, because in our department to staff are in the study, on the study. So I will stop up to this today. Thank you.
Thank you.